About last August, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. No problem. I said, oh, it's all right, I'll kick it in the butt. Just diet change, exercise, all those wonderful things. Toward the end of September, early October, I was getting really bad leg pain, like I was overdoing my exercise. All I was doing was walking. I wasn't exercising hard, but I mean, it was getting bad leg pain, foot burning, and just getting worse when, neuropathy as part of diabetes should get better when your blood sugar gets down and gets better. So I went back to the doc and I said, hey, why is this happening? And she said, well, it doesn't sound like neuropathy. It sounds like you might have a thing called stenosis, which is a narrowing of the spine around your spinal cord. We do an MRI and it comes back and says, well, you have stenosis, and they said it's fairly bad, not horrible, but fairly bad. Because we've got a bigger problem. Well, what's that? You have lesions all over your spine. And what's a lesion? She goes, it's just an abnormal growth. We don't know what it is, but it's typically caused by either a blood cancer or a bone marrow cancer. If it's what they call myeloma, it can be pretty sneaky and it doesn't always show up in this blood test. We're gonna send you over to Siteman. Well, that's another, kind of along parallel with that, I'm talking to Teresa and I'm saying, where am I in my life? What's my next phase? Because I was the sports guy and all that stuff when I was young, and then I started a business and built it up and sold it, and I'm kind of in the next phase, and I'm like, what's the next phase of my life? Where am I heading? What am I going to get excited about next? So I go to Siteman. The doctor over there is a real good doctor, nice guy. He's on their research for myeloma, so he's one of their top docs for that stuff. He goes, yeah, I looked at your charts, your bones are thinner, you've got the holes in your bones indicative of myeloma, and the PET scan showed that I had lesions not only on my spine, but on my ribs and the edges of my hips. So I'm like, great. He goes, well, that's classic myeloma. He goes, so that's what you've got. So he says, if you don't mind, let's do a bone marrow biopsy today, and that'll verify, because it's in your bone marrow, and we're gonna go right there where the lesions are on your hips, and it'll be right there. We'll get it, we'll find it, verify it, start your treatment plan. I get a call from my insurance company. This doctor over at Siteman was so certain I had myeloma, he called in the order for the bone marrow transplant to my insurance company. I finally just made up my mind. I'm like, I said, Satan, you can send me whatever you want to send to me. I said, you're just messing up. I said, the only thing you're doing when you do all this stuff, you're just pushing all these things on me and trying to worry me, and whatever disease, you throw it at me what you want. All you're doing is pushing me closer to God, period. And at the same time it hit me, that's probably the next phase of my life. That's probably where God wants to lead me. So I came here, and a few friends and we prayed together here, and I couldn't really give you a timeline of when, but I had a couple touches is all I can say they were from God. And I'm in bed one night and I'm laying there, and I feel like I'm in a cocoon and I'm on fire. I'm literally like on fire, burning, but I'm not hurting, I'm comfortable. I was absolutely the most peaceful and the most comfortable I've ever been in my entire life. Couldn't tell you how long it lasted. I never wanted it to end. I don't know what it was all about, but we think that might have been the touch that did some of these, that helped me with some of these things. I'd say it took 2 weeks, and the bone marrow biopsy came back. It's early January, and they called and said, your biopsy's completely clean. There's no myeloma at all. So we don't know what to do with you, And so I talked to the doc, and he goes, there's not many things, nothing I know of that causes holes in your bones, thinning bones, and these lesions to be all over in the places they're at, other than myeloma. So it looked like I'm still saying you had myeloma. I don't know where it's at, but it's not there anymore, it's gone. He goes, what I'd like to do is biopsy your actual lesions on your spine. So I'm in there laying on the table, and they give you these shots, you're just kind of laying there happy anyway, and I'm laying there, and she goes, Mark, the nurse comes back in, Mark, I'm like, yes. She goes, we've got a problem, your lesions are gone. I'm like, what? She goes, your lesions are gone. I'm like, what do you mean gone? She goes, that's what we're saying. We've had 2 doctors in here, a radiologist and 2 of our technicians looking at this, and they're not there anymore. She goes, you're clean as a whistle. There are no lesions on your spine anywhere. She goes, would you mind laying here for a minute? I said, sure. So she called my doctor upstairs, the cancer doc. He's freaking out, so they had to send him the image. He said, are you sure this is Marc Metz laying on the table? She goes, yes, we've triple verified, and he goes, okay. He goes, this is the oddest man I've ever known in my life. The guy at the doc still, he's totally flabbergasted, right? There is no explanation for anything that just happened to you. And I said, well, I know why. I told my wife, I said, I'm kind of one of those hard-headed people, and God knows that since He made me. So He probably had to push me pretty hard to get me to move to this next phase of my life, and that's kind of what we were joking about with this whole thing. And that's part of my journey. I'm learning more about what God and what Jesus did for us. It wasn't just for sin, it was for healing and health and happiness and all of these things. And that's so much more than I understood before. You know, so I mean, I've been immersing myself in the Word and praying and giving thanks. I mean, that's more than I do that more than anything now. What else do I need? You know, it's like, God, you've done everything for me. It's all you. He loves us like we love our children. You know, that really sent a message to me. It's like, well, think about it. If you really truly think about that, you'd do just about anything for your child if they asked you for it and maybe you thought you could do it for them. I mean, just if you put yourself in that mindset and you say, accept what He gives you or what you get, you have the right to use His sacrifice and accept it and have the faith that it's already done and move forward.